Welcome to Thinking Green. I'm Reona, and as we have been doing since Election Day, we're focusing on nonprofit organizations that are doing a lot of work in our city that deserve support. And this is the time of year that most of them are really trying to raise funds for the next year. And it actually seems like a very good antidote to election times. So before I introduce our guest, I wanted to let you all know that tomorrow there's going to be a planning meeting for a group that is promoting single-payer universal health care and working to get resolutions passed in Connecticut towns. The meeting will be tomorrow, Wednesday, 7 o'clock at the New London Senior Center. If you live in New London and you're interested in working on it, great, come. But if you live in one of the other towns in Eastern Connecticut, you can come too. We'll be working on some resolution language that's tailored to New London but easily adaptable to other towns in the region. So that's my first announcement. My guest tonight is Reona Dyess, and we're not going to talk politics to her, even though she was recently elected to city council. Or, well, maybe we'll talk politics a little, but very indirectly, very indirectly. And Reona's the executive director of the Drop-In Learning Center, and has been for quite a long time. And we're going to talk about the Drop as well as some other very worthy organizations that the Drop partners with and who will also do good work in New London. So welcome.
Thank you.
I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you was a little bit about the history of the Drop, because it's been around New London for a very long time. It's been, an institution for decades.
Yeah, 49 years.
Oh my gosh.
49 years. And I happen to have the original letter dated October 9th, 1970. Ann Shriver, she wrote this letter, and I'm going to share pieces of it.
Sure.
Because it's important to know how organizations start, to know exactly where they're going to be going. So, Crisis in the Nation Committee, United Church of Christ, gentlemen. See, that's important too, because in 1970, a lot of times organization was ran by men. So it's just a little note. So it's good to know your audience.
Yeah.
For the last 12 weeks, a community group have been creating a drop-in learning center located in a 3-story parish house at Second Congregational Church in New London. We've been working with volunteer basis or assignment from other organizations like the Vista, and then the now new Opportunity for Women. So I never heard of that organization. That was interesting. And they basically was working on no money. So I thought that was something. But during the summer, the group they had a consistent about 20 to 30 youngsters from 6 to 13 years of age. And so just the people that worked with them, it was a Mrs. Katrina Thomas. She was a mother of 4. And then you have Ann Shriver, who is yes. Her name is Nancy now. Is Nancy is what she listed her name as, but it's Ann now. And then a woman named Mrs. Gordon Palmer. So what I thought was really important, Ann was 23 years old when she started the Drop-In Learning Center. And it was a vision to really is an informal environment in which people of all ages and interests could develop their own learning experience, both individually or interactive. So it was a place where people could come and work together. We are open from 2 to 10. 2 in the afternoon to 10 p.m. And I thought that was different. And one of the things that Ann shared with me is that a lot of times people met at different times, different family members. So that's why it was open
Oh,
from
wow.
and it was a Monday through Friday. And in the near future, we would like to open full time on the weekend in order to make it easier for parents to become involved. So the developments they included knitting, sewing, reading, writing. This is cute. Banging or typewriters.
Oh,
um,
some things have changed.
a little bit. Playing the piano, movie making, listening to records and dancing, chess, carpentry, paint, and exploring with microscopes, watching auto visual material in the area of folklores. So like John Henry, Paul Bunyan, Black history, drug and sex education. The center has been involved in alternative education. And what is the potential for the center? The potential and the emergence of actually diversity and just unlimited possibilities. So I thought that was really cool. And then Ann goes into details about in addition to providing free learning environment outside the regular school system, they wanted to be the model of education, which they can offer it to public education. The center is serving as a meeting place for groups, so that's why they were open so late because they had other
yeah.
groups that was meeting there. Um, then I want to make sure because I know I want to capture something. So one of the things that I thought was really important is that she was just asking for 3,500, 3,000 to hire someone, and $500 for them to provide just different things for the kids. So 3,000 for
Wow.
staff, 500 for supplies.
Even in 1970, that wasn't a lot of money.
And Ann was interested in getting together with the high school students and developing their own educational program. Um, and in using New London as a learning environment, therefore creating a school without walls. And it's so cute that she mentioned that because we had volunteers from the Williams schools, and it was these triplets, and these triplets was known, Quins is their last name. They were known for doing track. Well, every summer they will volunteer with the center, and they wanted to do for their senior project a movable. I asked them for it was going to be a mural. It was a mural, but it was a movable mural, and so they had to interview the kids and find out what was the drop to them. And one of the things was that the world was their classroom. So when they designed this piece, they didn't have walls because they showed that that the environment all around the community is their learning opportunity. So I just thought that was cool because I just found this maybe 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And so I had no concept that that they saw this as it was a model in Parkway in Philadelphia where they talk about that. And
I actually remember the Parkway School in Philadelphia.
okay,
It was an alternative school that started probably when I was in high school in the mid '60s.
wow. So I'm just excited when I read this, but when I say some things change and some things, she mentioned about with she wanted to communicate and exchange skills. And one of the high school, have people come and study guitar with the kids, doing lab work and learning. A local chemistry company wants to train lab technicians and help, help with the students to have a job. So, and then you had Nilla Palmer. Nilla Palmer just celebrated 100-year birthday February. So it was so beautiful. I have this picture of her and Ann together because Nilla was the first board member who encouraged Ann to come and do this project. So if you could have seen those two together,
Wow.
because it was just a really beautiful moment. I was just glad to be a part of it because you have, two people who started the center and, just celebrating, just celebrating life, so, excuse me. And Nilla was into refurbishing the furnitures and stuff like that, and weaving and string, and those was the things that she wanted to teach the children. And I'm just, and, Mrs. Thompson, she was interested in job training and making sure that kids have an opportunity to learn different skills so they can have gainful employment. So it's just that this was just one of the things that they share. I'm going to make sure I get to this one part because I thought it was really interesting because they talked about that the structure itself. It was great for small, because the way 116 Federal Street was set up, right. You could do small groups. But they realized that they didn't have an area for the kids to do basketball and stuff. So believe it or not, 49 years ago, we were still looking for a community center. I'm like, what?
Some things don't change.
Exactly. And so, but basically, I just wanted to share little bits and pieces of this letter because guess what? The drop is going to be celebrating 50 years.
Well, I don't think I was aware of it until maybe the mid 1980s. I didn't live in Connecticut till the late 1970s, but things were really kind of different in 1970. I think a lot of people were experimenting with alternative things, and they were starting out somewhat informally. And of course, now after 49 years, it's not so informal in terms of its governance. The education can still be very free-spirited and and multidimensional. But now I think even if you're asking for $3,500, which is really very little bit, anyone giving you money wants to know, that your organization's more organized. So, when did you start getting involved with the drop?
I'm going to be celebrating, I want to say 24 years, 24, 25 years. So it's been a while. So what is so nice about this, for me personally, I had the opportunity to see at least 2 generations, it's not 3, because some kids I had when they were already in high school. So I'm considered a drop grandma. So I have some children who attend the drop and their parents attend the drop. But what's so wonderful about it is that it is a child care facility. We do enrichment program in the summer and throughout the year. But we are licensed because things have changed. And legally, you have to be a licensed facility if you serve 12 or more kids over a meal. So whether it's dinner time, snack time, breakfast, you have to be licensed by the state. And then they have their requirements that you must meet. But you also, and those things are primarily safety issues.
Sure. Now, so I don't know, how would you describe how things have changed over the last 25 years that you've been involved?
You talking about how many times I moved?
So that's an issue. Talk about. I definitely want to talk about how many. I think the drop was at that Federal Street location for quite a long time.
Yes.
Even though it wasn't perfect in some ways. And I don't know, when did it move out? The early 2000s?
Yeah, it was the early 2000s. And believe it or not, we actually, it was the early 2000s. We ended up going to Jennings Elementary School because we didn't have a spot. Yeah, a lot of people.
I don't remember that at all.
So this is back before they had the new addition. They used to have a lunchroom in the back. That was our area that we met at. And so we had kids that was bused there or walked there from the middle school. So that was our location. That was for a short time. That was for
Yeah,
like
Jennings
6
was an
months.
all-Walker school back then.
Yes. But I had kids from Edgerton and from Harbor and Nathan Hale, Benny Dover, and St. Mary's back then. So,
Yeah.
and even now, I look at how many kids we serve, and it's a total of 9 either buses or walking or special transportation that we have to look out for the kids coming to the center. So that right there is amazing. Um,
So when they closed Jennings to rebuild it, I assume you were kicked out.
well, what ended up happening, Noesa Casa
Oh,
end up consolidating TVCCA. They end up consolidating all of
over
their
over on Bayonet.
exactly. So when they moved out, we were doing reading as fundamental riff. So I was going to all the preschoolers in schools giving out riff books, and they let us know that they were going to be leaving. And so we went to Second Congregational Church and say, hey, we were a part of your mission back when we first got started. It was because of Reverend McLeod that we were able to use the parish house,
Right.
which is a Sunday school. So they said, come on back. So what I had to do is get the facility license. And what was really, I think, was encouraging for me because we only had what they call the wing, and it was 3 classrooms. During that time frame that I was there from 2001 to 2000 and want to say 16, we expanded from being licensed for 32 children to 96. So we added on classrooms.
That's a huge expansion.
It was. We ended up adding on 1, 2, 3, 4 classrooms, and besides that, we were a part of. They call it delivering goods now, which bring in new toys or clothing from different shops. We were they were being delivered to us, and we would make sure all the daycares in school have access to it, and diapers. We were also getting diapers. So when we were at Second Congregational Church, it was 9,000 square feet that we were responsible for. And so every time we opened up a classroom, it was because of our partnership and other people helping us do the expansion. So that was really, it was good, but it was needed because our after school and our summer program was full. And that was before they were doing the 21st century after school grants in the schools, before they were providing extended learning hours, is what they call it.
Right. Now, at what point did you start having preschool programs?
Oh, I just want to think it was like 2010. It hasn't been that long. I mean, that's not years, but to me, because it
Yeah,
doesn't
the
seem like it's been.
49, it's just.
Yeah, just a little 1/4 of the way, or 1/5 of the way. But so one of the things that we did is when Second Congregational Church had Miracle Temple buy their church for $1, which was pretty cool. Miracle Temple let us stay there until our lease ended. Our lease ended the end of 2017. So we were working on going to Mitchell College. Mitchell College had a daycare that they weren't using. I mean, it was dormant for what, 5, 6, 7 years?
Something like that.
Yeah. So what the center did, we went in there because we were. It's so amazing when you licensing is the ground level of when a person want to serve children. But we were going for NIAC accreditation. We had started there when we were at 45 Broad Street. We started there, but then Miracle Temple wanted their facility, which I understand. And so we went to Mitchell, so we had to start all over with the NIAC accreditation, because it's not only making sure that your staffing and your curriculum and all that is meeting accreditation, but it's also the safety of the building and the environment around it. So when you have to start all over, pretty much.
And actually, that was a big location change in terms of suddenly you didn't have access to the downtown.
True, but we had nature, which
It's
was
a beautiful spot.
exactly. And and we had our own playground. We had, and then for the summer, one of the things that I did was I also licensed our camp. So when we serve additional children, we rented out the facility at Mitchell and we ran a camp there. So I was doing a little bit, and I didn't mention during the summertime, even though that facility was licensed for 96 kids, we also ran a summer camp, which was Camp Rotary. We licensed it under youth license, and we were running it out of, we had two sites, out of Shiloh Baptist Life Center and out of Connecticut College. And it was beautiful because our kids had instructors, science instructors, math instructor, language art instructor. I had some of the best staffing. And then we would go, and I still do, so I need to make sure I correct that. I have been blessed with people who are invested in our children, and I am so thankful for that. But then we go to Connecticut College, we had the use of their pool, we had the use of various classrooms, the tennis court. So, and that's one of the things I also like about Mitchell too. We had access to the tennis court, all the technology in the classroom, so I was a little spoiled.
And then they decided to reopen their early childhood
Yes, they
program.
did. They that was something that they decided to do, and I understand because it is needed, and there's a lot of changes going around in our community. And at the time when they were looking to reopen it, General Dynamics was doing massive hiring, so it was a conversation. And so hopefully I hope everything is working out because it's really about making sure our children have opportunities and quality child care. So
The building on Pequot Avenue that had been the Bright Horizons Center, the city of New London tried to get hold of it for preschool programming, and they couldn't.
I tried to get a hold of it too. And our children, the Drop-in Learning Center children and BP Learning Mission children, were the children that did the advertisement for Pfizer. That means we saw the plans before the daycare was built. They did video, videos, television, radio announcement. They did the banners. Remember they had the large banner up there before they built everything? Our kids designed all that. And then the logo, a friend to meet you, Pfizer, a friend to meet you in the world. That was one of our kids that designed that logo. And Heather LeGrone, I know she's Person, that's her name. She and I was the two people that worked on that with the middle school kids. And these was middle school kids that designed and put that out. I was so proud of them that year. And what they were told, as they go through this, Pfizer will be there for you. You will have an opportunity for jobs and opportunity with this company. So,
so much for that. So you have preschool programs.
Yes.
You still have after school and enrichment programs. So
Yes.
what do they look like now?
Oh wow! So we're back in our old neighborhood, so which is nice. And so we have kids again from age 3 all the way up to age 14. Our
Now you're at St. James, but are
Yes.
you only upstairs, or do you have more?
I have more space now. So what I appreciate is that our office is there, but also the lower level is the teens area, which is nice. So upstairs, you have the younger kids, and then we have the little classroom, which is the preschool room. So it's nice. But what is so...
And you have a licensed kitchen right there, too.
Yes. Yes. Matter of fact, our kids did bacon. They did pies. So I think I threw that on our Facebook. So what was so cool is that they did pies and brownies, cheesecake. So those are the 3 things they had a chance to choose. And they took these items that they made home for Thanksgiving. So they had a chance to contribute what they made. And they're going to be doing cookies with members of St. James congregation on next week on that Tuesday and Wednesday. So they get a chance to take that home as well.
Wow. So, okay, so you mentioned the teens, but what kind of programming do you have for the teens?
Well, you know what's so amazing about that is that First of all, you got the soft skills, learning how to answer the phone, learning the importance of volunteering. Um, because it's after school, a lot of our teens, we encourage them to be active. So homework is always important. So that's a time management skill that they're learning. But also being involved in other things. So we have some of our teens that they're involved in, uh, whether it's football, baseball, those different types of things, different art classes that's there. But in the summertime is when we have them the whole all day. So with having them all day, we work on life skills on how to catch the bus, knowing the local colleges and visiting them, and having personal tours, learning how to swim. It can be from sailing. So those are the type of things we learn. Cooking. So when we have our family enrichment, not enrichment, but our family activities in the summertime, our kids are the one who's designing it, setting it up, and making the food for it. And so we had a game night. That's what it was, where they were in charge of making sure everything was in order. But that particular night, which was pretty cool, the church had a visiting group of teens that came a day early. And so our kids had to learn how to be flexible, but also hospitality, making sure that our guests receive food and so forth. And then that particular night, we had two young people that was, a matter of fact, Sean and Shane Brooks. They graduated from New London Science and Tech High School this year. They're
Oh, yeah.
drop kids, but they receive scholarships. So they had a chance to talk to the youth that was there and their parents about different things that they learned in the center, so they can so they can do their thing. So I'm just proud.
Yeah.
What I mean by that, go on to college, go on and pursue their dreams. So with that being said, we also a site for kids to learn how to work with children. So a work site. So we do that as well. So it's a little bit of everything that take place. And right now our teens is a mixture of our kids are actually doing the Winter Village that's downstairs. And then with when I talked about art, some things that the kids bring up that they're passionate about that they do. I know time go by quick. I'm sorry.
It does. No, no. Well,
I can talk forever about the kids at the drop and about the different opportunity. But what I tell people, we start very young with our kids taking leadership role. And yesterday we had our art exhibit, and that was mainly their fifth grade and under. So these kids had a chance to show the art that they did. It's still on display. I haven't taken it down, going down towards the lower level. But they had to talk to their peers and explain about which one was their favorite piece. What type of material did they use? What do they plan on doing next? And Andre was the artist that was from Expressiones who worked with the youth this particular time. We have a new artist that's coming, Maria. She's been with us before, and she's going to be working with wood and puppetry, if I'm not mistaken. So, and what was so cool is this is a female artist. So far, we had quite a few male artists. So our females who've been taking the class, she got excited because before when we were practicing, she's like, "Is Expressiones going to come back? When are they going to start back up with the next series?" So, our kids look forward for these different opportunities.
Now, are there any other services that the drop provides before we go and talk about some other organizations?
No problem. We do wraparound service, so it could be referrals. So, because we have younger kids, if there's things that we're concerned about their development stages of life, we do refer them to Birth to Three, the New London board, not New London board, but the services in New London public schools. The other thing is that we also are like a hub where we get clothing. Like right now, we get coats from Burlington Coat Factory. We're at Burlington now, which I appreciate. So every Tuesday we collect coats, And these are coats that our community are giving us. So we have that available. So far, the high school, Winthrop, but it's open to everyone. So our number is 860-442-4466. Drop in Learning Center. Please stop it. Call us to make sure you let us know that you're coming, and I can let you know what coats we have available. So a lot of it's open to everyone. So clothing, we also oh, I can't even think now. So when we say a family resource center, if a family is in need of food vouchers, that's another thing that we do. So we just gave out Thanksgiving baskets for family that was in need, um, or just need support, because the most 99% of my family are working. They they just need support and a helping hand. So it can varies from different things that they pardon me may need, and some things are a little bit different. Where if they need help with securing a green card, or making sure that they have things that they maybe they're in a situation where there's domestic violence going on. Just making sure we connect them to the support and resources in the community so they can get the help they need. So we had to deal with so many different issues over the years.
Now, if actually before we move on to other groups,
Okay.
if someone wants to support the drop, uh, how would you recommend that they be supportive?
Oh my goodness. Well, we always talk about monetary support, so that's always a given. But now, one of the things I'm looking at, you have people that art. We have a lot of our students that love art, so we collect a lot of say old canvases. We know how to repurpose them. We know how to paint over them, reuse it. Because our kids, when I say they enjoy art, they know the importance of being able to use a canvas and how to reuse it. So that was one of the skills that Expressionis taught them,
Oh,
and we
wow.
can continue doing. The other thing is that volunteer. I tell you, it is nice when you have additional eyes or someone that just enjoy listening to our children read to them, or like to read to the kids. So that's something that's always great to have.
And I know if you people go to the website, it's dropinlearningcenter.org, which is
Yes.
long but easy. And there is a wish list there of things
Yes.
that people can donate, and then also things that are not donatable. Um, well, and I just want to recommend too, you have a website which looks like it's bright and shiny new, and provides a lot of information, and also a Facebook page so that
Yes.
people can find out what's going on, and stay up to date.
Yes.
Um, you talked a lot about a lot of different kinds of partnerships. That the drop works together with Expressiones, and I see you have some. You've talked about Camp Rotary. You have stuff from the Kiwanis. How about let's talk about some of these other groups that you partner with briefly,
And
please?
I appreciate that. Thank you. So when we talk about, I'm going to start with the Coast Guard. They provided Net 21, which was a program for the middle school kids learning how to decode and code things, and it's a 2-day program. That has been our second year in doing that. That's during the summertime. When we talk about Connecticut College, allowing us to, we have been using their pool. Can you imagine kids having a chance to use that Olympic-sized pool, the diving board? A lot of our kids learn how to swim, our middle school kids, or improve on their swimming. New London Recreation Department provides swim lessons for our kids every summer, which is awesome. New England Science and Sailing, NEST, they provided community boating, kayaking, snorkeling, weekly classes, learning about the water and environment for our younger kids and for our middle school kids. So, and then this past summer, they came to our site 3 times a week from 12 to 3:30 to give support in different enrichment and activities that our kids did. Outstanding. Then when we talk about clubs that give us support, I think about the Lions Club that come in and test our kids for vision. But also, whenever we have our open house celebrating lights on, they are the one that provide the food for our family. So that's a family big event that we always
Oh,
have.
I didn't realize that. And the Lions come in and they do the testing.
Oh, yes, yes. And they've been doing that for over, I want to say 7 years now. They come in and they caught and helped support a lot of our kids where they didn't realize, the parents didn't realize they needed glasses. And
For
so
very young kids, it's actually really hard to know.
this is true. And it started as young as 6 months. And so they go to the daycare. So call the Lions if you don't have that in your child care facility. Or volunteer or be a member of the Lions, and you can actually be one of our vision persons. So just saying, the other club that I appreciate that I'm a part of is the Kiwanis Club. Oh, and did I mention that that the Lions Club meet the first and third Tuesday of the month at 12 noon at La Luna, which is at the Holiday Inn. So a great club to be a part of. If you're, and then we collect glasses as well. So that's something. And if a family's having struggle and getting glasses for their child, that's another support that the Lions Club does. So the Kiwanis Club is another club that I'm a member of, and they meet the first and third Thursday at 12 noon. Oh my goodness, they just moved to, it's on State Street, that club,
The Yacht Club
not the Yacht Club, but
or the
the
Thames
Thames Club. Yes, they meet there. So and you can get lunch
Oh,
there.
okay, not at Mitchell anymore.
Not at Mitchell. That just started this month. So and one of the things that I appreciate from the Kiwanis Club is that bicycle helmets. They provided that for our kids, but the Kiwanis Club, you can actually go to their website and you can apply for grants. And over the years, it averaged about $7,000 that they have given out, and they're small, between 500 to maybe $800 grants that they give out to local organizations, nonprofits, which make a difference. And they give out $3,000 scholarships.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool too. And you can apply for that online as well, and at their website, which is newlondonkiwanis.org. And how can I forget that the Lions also give out scholarships to New London students. So I enjoy being a part of both these clubs because they make a difference in our community. So NAACP, I'm a lifetime member of that, but that's one of my one of the advisor for the youth, and I was just getting their book together, and so that's something that I appreciate because this is making leaders and empowering youth to learn the importance of advocating for change in their community. So that's another organization
They
that
have
I'm a
an
part of.
annual meeting coming up, correct?
Yes, that's how I was getting my paper together.
Oh,
for.
good.
So, but I was looking at all the things that they have done, and this group is, they're really a powerful group. But what I love is that that's this Friday, the annual meeting, the New London NAACP at OIC at 6 p.m. So I hope to see you there. It is a fee because you are going to have some good food. So I'm excited about that.
And I have to tell people that Jean Jordan gave a presentation last week about the history of the NAACP in New London, and we actually have it videotaped and it's up on YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
So I don't know what the best way to get to it is, but I think it might be posted on the New London Landmarks Facebook page. I can share it on my Facebook page, but it was recorded. It was a great program.
Awesome. See, I like that. That's good. So kudos, Jean. But it's nice that it could be shared over and over again. So I'm gonna go look for it and see if I can throw it on my Facebook page.
It's linked. The New London Green Party has a YouTube channel where we post all these TV shows, but we also post other things that our members videotape, and so that was one of the things that the most recent thing I think that was put up there. And I guess because you talked a little bit about being bounced around, maybe we should talk a little bit about the Community Land Trust.
Most definitely. That's one of my passions, right? So with the Community Land Trust, is an opportunity to make a permanent affordable housing. And that's really important. And guess what? We got our first house that we're looking. So if you know a young family that's just starting off, that's looking for a home, that want to live in New London, that's here in New London, please go to the communitylandtrust.org, CLTlandtrust.org website, and then on Facebook, Google it. That way, because we're getting ready to try to get it off the market, because it's on the market now.
Yeah, 34 Press Street. It was renovated. It's a 2-family, and then I think the Land Trust is interested in more projects. Unlike some community land trusts, it's interested in permanently affordable housing, but also in garden space, community garden space, and in space for nonprofits. And I think that was one of the things that you, as well as directors and people who are involved in other nonprofits that are not giant ones, that have had a hard time finding permanent homes as well.
Yes, and that's important. So our Community Land Trust, and the reason why I say our, because you one of the founding members.
I was a founding member.
Yes.
And then I watch one, and sit back and watch other people take over, and it really is wonderful.
It is. So we actually have a garden space, which is on Ledger Street, have a house. And you're right, one of the things that I did was just do a little research of how many nonprofits have been bounced around. And I'm saying bounced around, but it's so sad. I don't think our community realized how much money we invested when we're donating for space. So you have Hearing Youth Voices, Writers Block. You have, like I said, the Drop-In Learning Center. You think about the community orchestra. They need a permanent space. I love that they're in the library, but as they grow, then you look at
and office space too. I'm involved with Riverside Park Conservancy, and we've never really had an office space. One of our founding members lives near the park, and her home address is our official address. But it would be great to have just a small office, that we could have some office hours, that we could have all of our, documentation
in one
spot. And it would be great to have an office space that's shared. So I'm hoping that, especially when the Community Land Trust sells its first house and pays off its initial loans, it starts looking for other houses for residency, but also other buildings for mixed uses.
And see, some people don't realize that they can be involved in this by, donating to Community Land Trust, but also, sometimes people have homes that they may not have family that they want to leave it with. You could leave a legacy, and you can actually leave your home to the Community Land Trust so other people can have an opportunity of ownership. And a lot of people may not realize that, but that's an opportunity that they may want to invest in the future.
And there are so many partnerships going on. The Linwood Land House on Franklin Street, which is being renovated under the auspices of New London Landmarks, that did a fantastic job finding all the grants possible for historic renovation. And I believe that is destined to be a community land trust house when it's completed. So even though the land trust was not up to that historic renovation job. So there's just a lot going on here in New London, and a lot of groups that work together already. It would be great if some of us could share some spaces. So you also mentioned, and we only have about, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes left. The 2020 is the census year.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about why that's so significant.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that's how we get our funding. I mean, it takes care of, and if you go to my Facebook site, I have the actual detail from what we get for our schools, our hospitals, our roads, our infrastructure. So we
I assume
need to,
community development block
oh yes,
grants
the
also.
block grant. Yes, you are so correct. And it's so important that everyone is counted. And one of the things that we need to make sure people realize, they just want to know how many people live here. They're not asking about your citizenship or anything like that. If someone asks you a question like that, they're not from the census. They're not right, because that is.
There was an attempt, but it did
It
not
did
go.
not pass.
It did not pass.
No. But what I love about this is that they're looking for people to work. So what a great opportunity for a job. It's a temporary job, but do you know it pays from $15 to $20 an hour, and it can be part-time. So if you just and we need people that speak different languages. We need people that feel comfortable to talk to people, to get them to fill out the form. But 10 years ago, the Drop-In Learning Center was a site where people would come and fill out the paperwork. Stephanie Brown was the facilitator, and we were just open, where people came there, and because they didn't feel comfortable with someone coming to their home, and they came there and took care of the paperwork right then and there. And so I don't know if people realize this is done online. So I know I'm going to have some computers available where once they start, where our families can fill out the paperwork. And I want to encourage all the nonprofits, all the child care facility at your church, everyone who has computers, a little iPads, bring them and encourage people to fill out their paperwork so we can be counted. We want to make sure everyone is counted so we can get the dollars that we need for our community.
And there are some attempts, I think, on the part of some people to disenfranchise people who live in cities, and we can't really let that happen.
No.
When I moved to Connecticut in the late 1970s, we had, 6 congressmen. It went down to 5 in, I don't know, based on the 2000 census perhaps. And while it is true that population did leave Connecticut, it's also possible that it didn't all get counted among people who are here. So even the amount, to take advantage of the political power that we're entitled to, we really have to go on record. And when you mention that people can come to sites or do it online, the census workers who go door to door to the houses that have not submitted their info.
Exactly.
I know, I was thinking about doing it. I used to do that kind of stuff for Head Start all the time, knock on the doors of houses of people who didn't know me. But I think in New London in particular, people who know Spanish, people who know Haitian Creole would be particularly, and now maybe, people who know Arabic or Urdu might be particularly important to have.
True. So they can apply online, 2020census.gov/jobs. It's great pay, flexible hours, weekly pay, and it's paid training. Or you could call 1-855-JOBS-2020. Please, I'm telling you, it's a great second job because it's for a short period of time. And it could just, you making a difference in your community by taking action.
Now, in the 2 minutes you have left, do you want to let people know how to get in touch with the drop if they want to be supportive or register their child in something, or get more info about anything.
You could call 860-442-4466. That is the Drop In Learning Center. And www.dropinlearningcenter.org. So looking forward to hearing from you. And
Yeah.
thank you.
And thank you for coming on the show tonight. Next week, it won't be a live show, but our guest will be Joe Marino, and he is the attorney who has recently taken over the Immigration Advocacy and Support Center that's located at Church of the City, and he'll talk about immigration issues and the services that organization provides. And it didn't quite get on the community calendar. 2 events tomorrow night. There's actually a community meal at Benny Dover. They're once a month now.
Okay, yeah.
And on Saturday, December 21st, is Make Music Day. We'll try to get a schedule posted, but I just saw today all over downtown, all different sites, there will be music all day. Rich Martin just put an announcement this afternoon about it, but there isn't a full schedule yet.
What about the longest day that we're supposed to, the homeless?
Oh, yeah, that's on the 21st.
Yeah,
and I think that will be on our community calendar.
Good.
I hope.
Okay.
I think we plan to.
Okay.
Anyway, so we'll see you next week with Joe Marino from IASC, and thank you, Reona, and good luck in your new role as well as keeping up with your old role, and keep on doing the good work. And we'll see you all next week.
Okay.